It's Two on the Aisle with me, Charles Gross, and Jeff Goodman. Tonight, David Lefkowitz joins us for reviews of Pygmalion, Make Me a Song, and Cymbeline. Plus, the Performing Arts Insider, Top 10 Shows of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Two on the Aisle. Good evening, I'm Charles Gross. Welcome to Two on the Aisle. Jeff Goodman is on assignment in Thailand.
Well, I'm here to take his place just for tonight. Dave Lefkowitz, very happy to be with you. And with you, Charlie, happy almost end of 2007 here.
Yes, and it's been a year.
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty darn good year in theater, and we'll be talking about that, as well as some shows that we've both seen recently.
Yes.
Covering more in depth.
Now, let us talk about the Performing Arts Insider's top 10 lists.
Of 2007. See, so many of the awards in theater are seasonal, so they go from fall to spring, and that's it.
Right.
And I figure every other list is really for the year. Who died in 2007? Who did this?
Right.
You know, what were the best albums out? So I like to do it annually. I'm more
Now,
of a
there are
year
actually
person.
two lists in here, one by you and one by your co-publisher, Richmond Shepard.
Correct.
And here is something that I find very, very interesting. I see on his best musical list, Love Music. I see on your worst musical list, Love Music.
Yeah, that was the one where the only one, as you'll see, where we really split. And
now, this was the
Lagananya Kurt Weill bio musical,
right,
Hal
Donna
Prince
Murphy.
Directed.
Right.
With Donna Murphy, right, and Michael Cerveris.
Right.
As Kurt Weill. And then Brecht is in there somewhere, too.
Right. I can't say it would have made my top 10 best list, but it certainly would have made my worst. Donna Murphy sang these songs beautifully. And again, this was wasn't a perfect production, but it was enjoyable. Certainly not one of the worst shows.
I was so bored, and I felt like this really lost opportunity. I mean, here are these songs, and I'm not a
very
huge
nice
Kurt Weill song, but Kurt Weill fan.
But you could appreciate the music.
Sure, and Three Penny Opera and all that kind of those things, and September Song, whatever.
Right.
And wanting to care about their love story and their very unusual love story. And I was getting into it, and there's a very sexy opening scene between them in the boat where you discover their characters in a marvelous way, and it's all downhill from there. And it's all so domestic and boring, and I was like, my gosh, these are such legendary figures. Tell an exciting story about them or something about Hollywood, and I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, interesting quote. I had actually seen her. I never knew it because she was in the James Bond movie.
You mean Lagananya?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And
she was the second.
I assume she was not Octopussy.
No, it was From Russia with Love. She played
oh.
the Russian KGB
cool.
head with the knife in her shoe.
Well, but anyway, that's just one show. And ironically, it turns up on Richmond's best list and my worst list. Richmond is my co-publisher.
Right.
And by the way, we did not collaborate or talk about the list. I did mine, and then he sent me his.
And he did his.
Completely.
Now I see you both liked Radio Golf.
Good show.
Yeah.
Good play.
Again, not one of his best, I think you say, but it was a solid.
It's in the middle. It's not one of his worst either. And
no, certainly not.
And absolutely.
This was August Wilson we're talking about.
Sorry, yes, of course. And a lot of also, nobody sent me the set, but some of the critics are raving about the fact that they've now published all of August Wilson's plays in a 10-volume set, and it just becomes an extraordinary thing to read and to see the connections between them.
Right. Also, I see you have Frost Nixon, which was a
terrific,
wonderful, powerful thing of the Nixon-Frost interview. Not only do they show the interviews, but they show what was behind it.
Yeah.
And who would have known that it was a lot harder for David Frost to put this together, and a lot riskier than we realized.
That's the flesh of the story.
And the interesting thing is the unknowable Richard Nixon, played by Frank Langella, who doesn't at all resemble him, but you believed he was Nixon. Well, even in the play he did not. He looked like Frank Langella. He didn't look like Richard Nixon. He didn't really sound like Richard Nixon, but you believed he was Richard Nixon. And the unknowable Nixon becomes the most knowable character in the play, which I find very ironic.
Very true. And again, I'm not taking that verbatim. I mean, that's a big thing now with the Farnsworth invention of how much is true and how much did the playwright make up and falsify. Apparently a lot with Farnsworth. And I'm sure a lot with Frost Nixon too, the liberties, but we don't mind as much as we didn't with Amadeus. I mean, who was there watching Salieri and Amadeus
Amadeus, we pretty much accept as fiction. Frost Nixon...
Well, that's a problem with Farnsworth.
It sure feels...
Right. It's probably as false as Farnsworth, but it's good theater. And that's what I care about. And watching Frank Langella up there on that screen when he was losing it. Not the famous scene with the phone call, where that everybody was going. But later on, when they get him, and you see that they got him, and the lost look on his face, I was nailed to the chair. And that's why it's on my top 10 list.
And deservedly so. This is an interesting one I would not have expected to see. Forbidden Broadway, Rude Awakening.
Yeah. I haven't seen Forbidden Broadway in a couple of years, which is my shame, my fault.
You go back every couple of years.
Yeah, I think everyone should.
Right.
And I went back towards the very, very beginning of this season to go see it, and saw it on its opening night, which, okay, that's kind of a little extra special because the crowd is really... Sure. But if I tell you, it was such a heartening thing after a slow summer, after, whatever, and just to recharge your batteries and go and see a brilliant man make fun of the thing that you love in a loving but sharp way. Right. And it just, after 90 minutes, we were jumping out of our
better
chair.
Than previous versions?
No, it's not. But it doesn't have to. It's still terrific, even if it's not the best version. It's still really funny. It's still a joy.
This show's been running for like 25 years.
Yes. Now, like that, yeah.
Do you? Here's a trivia question. The original Forbidden Broadway logo. Do you know what it was based on?
Forbidden Planet? No. Why?
No, not at all. I don't. Yeah. It was based on the Sondheim musical, Merrily We Roll Along, which I think probably was on Broadway roughly when they
started doing Forbidden Broadway, and
because the logo for Merrily We Roll Along was them looking at Sputnik. And the original logo for Forbidden Broadway was them kind of thumbing their noses, looking at Broadway.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And I had the honor of interviewing Gerard Alessandrini on my radio show, Dave's Gone By. Sunday nights, WGBB.
We actually had him on Two on the Aisle, but the sound broke, so we're going to have to get him again.
Well, he was miming at that point. Right. And he was saying just about going through that first year, the budget was like $5 and a broom and a mop, and that was their prop, and it grew from there.
Yeah, and it's become an institution.
Thank goodness. And do I miss it not being in a cabaret setting anymore? I don't know. You can hear everything a lot clearer, there's no dropped stuff because waiters are talking or dropping glasses.
Right.
Does it lose something by being in a regular proscenium? A little bit. And sometimes it's a little too loud now. Sometimes you're like, whoa.
I guess it depends because it's been to cabaret and theater and then back to cabaret. Now it's back at the theater. It works.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Alessandrini is a very sharp, he's a good critic. He's very sharp.
Yeah.
And he really, and he's funny, and
And he has his greatest hits that he always pulls out, but he changes them when he has to. Like he's doing Les Mis again, but half of it is new because it's specific to the production.
That's one musical that might have made my list had I done it, because it's interesting. Les Mis in a chorus line, which were revived this year. I didn't expect to be overwhelmed by them, but I was much more so than I was when I saw them originally on Broadway. Interesting.
That's cool.
Possibly with a chorus line because I was like sitting in the front row and I could literally see the actors sweating. But a lot of it just hit me like it never has before. And ditto with Les Mis. Now, Les Mis will be closing soon, but the chorus line is running.
Well, Les Mis I put on because it really didn't feel like a revival. It just felt like it closed for a few months on hiatus.
And then it came back.
Came back. Chorus line I liked, but I wasn't blown away, and with chorus line, I want to be blown away.
Yeah, I was, which had never happened to me before.
That's cool.
I never saw it with the original cast, but I did see the original production several times, so I'm glad it's back.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, our Performing Arts Insider Countdown, 1 to 5.
But let me just say that the number one show was A Bronx Tale. So we can really get to that, but that was my favorite. So
and Richmond's was
well, he loved that too for a solo show.
Yes, and I think his number one play was Two Trains Running.
They revived that, the August Wilson play.
We'll do our countdown 1 to 5 stars, I think.
Or 1 to 5 stars.
1 to 5 playbills, but
whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to think of a good name for
Insiders.
Insiders. Okay, the shows we saw tonight. Pygmalion.
Pygmalion, I would give 3.5 Insiders to.
Really?
I liked it a whole lot.
Yeah, I know, but that's interesting.
3 out of 5, yeah. Well.
Yeah, because I would also give it about 3.5.
3.5, okay.
Yeah, but Pygmalion should get at least. Pygmalion should any production of Pygmalion should be getting at least 4. So.
Okay, fair enough.
William Finn's Make Me a Song.
2 3/4 Insiders.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little more generous. I'm gonna go with 3.
A full 3?
A full 3, but
if they put just a nice something, a curtain, I'll give it 3. I promise I would. Okay.
Cymbeline, I'm going to go with 4 1/4 on. It's really fabulous production. Highly recommended. Okay, and when you go to the theater, look for David and me, us two, on the aisle, and I think we have a few more minutes. I think they'll fade us out, so let's get back to your list.
Sure, yeah, let's so my second one was talk radio, which I thought was...
I think we're, okay, well, we're going to just keep talking, fade us out when the time is ending. Talk radio was fabulous. Liev Schreiber, incredible. I never saw the original production, but this was wonderful. I don't know whether it's...
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.